Oh, the host has unmuted my microphone. What a lovely host. Thank you so much for doing that. Hello, everybody. Hello. Good to see you all. And okay, so today, the topic that I've been asked to discuss is understand the multifamily contracting process. And I'm just going to, of course, everybody knows how the contracts work and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to really delve into the workflow, the contract flow, but also the pitfalls where you can possibly get yourself into trouble if you don't know what you're doing and you just don't want to be in this situation. And this is the thing, my clients, I look over their shoulder every step of the way because I don't want them making mistakes. So I'm going to teach this kind of like it's a law school classroom a little bit, where I'm going to give you a couple of real pointers where you're going to get yourself into trouble. Okay, so here's the understand the first step. Now we all talk about letters of intent, LOIs. Do you need an LOI to make an offer? No, you don't. And as a matter of fact, most of the brokers don't even like LOIs. They want to do what's called go straight to contract. Okay, you could do that, especially if it's a kick-ass property and you want to lock that thing down so fast and not make sure nobody else gets it. If that's the case, go straight to contract. But the reason why we start out with that letter of intent is because the letter of intent is kind of like that thing that you used to give to that girl who sat in front of you in third grade, that little note that said, I like you, do you like me, check yes or no. It didn't cost anything. You just give her the note, right? So that's kind of what an LOI is. Here's my offer, here are my terms, do you like them, yes or no? And it doesn't cost anything to do. And as an investor, you should be doing this all day long, twice on Sundays, because that's your job. If you don't get an accepted offer, you're not in business. So make a lot of offers. Who cares how ridiculous they are? I love this one guy said, if you can't hang your head in shame after making an offer, you've offered too much. And so that's all an LOI is. Go ahead and make a ton of them. Nothing bad ever happens when you make a letter of intent. But understand that the terms that you put in there that get negotiated back and forth, once you have an accepted letter of intent, that becomes the basis for the purchase and sale contract. In other words, those terms that you agreed to in the letter of intent, don't change them when you go to negotiate the contract. Poor form. Very poor form. So make sure that once you get that offered and done and it shows up and agreed upon by the seller, that's what you're going to go use to draft the purchase and sale contract. So for example, if you did not ask for seller financing in the letter of intent, don't start asking for it during the purchase and sale stage. Rookie move. And then something else. This is a little inside baseball. Virtually every contract has those miscellaneous sections. In ours, I think it's Article 18 or Article 19. That's the miscellaneous section. In there is a clause, a paragraph that we lawyers call the merger clause. And what that means is that this purchase and sale contract is it. Everything that's been discussed, written, orally discussed, everything has been merged into this purchase and sale contract. And from now on, once it is executed, everything can be found within these four corners. So if you asked for seller financing and you forgot to, and you got approved in the letter of intent, and then you put it into the purchase and sale contract, or you forgot to put it in the purchase and sale contract, and you sign off, you're not getting seller financing because of that merger clause. So make sure that you transfer everything that was agreed to in the letter of intent into the purchase and sale contract. So when a client asks me to review their contract, if they use my contract, it's relatively easy for me. I go right through it. And and I always ask them I need to see your letter of intent, because I've got to make sure that the two contracts come together. That's how typically the process goes. You're negotiating two things with a purchase and sale contract. You're negotiating time and you're negotiating money. And time is money. And those are the terms that you are really negotiating. So we all understand the money, earnest money deposit, purchase price, all of those types of things that we add in there, and that satisfy the money component. And then you look at the time element. So the typical time element, and this is something you need to understand just so you can make sure the flow goes through, is number one, the time element is when does the earnest money get deposited? Now, most contracts say that the earnest money, that the money gets added within X number of days of the execution date. Okay, yep, that's fine, but the guy also has to give you the due diligence material, because usually those types of contracts are written such that the due diligence period begins when the earnest money is turned in. Okay, so how much time do you have for the due diligence? You got 30 days. Great. I'm going to need all of these documents from the seller for me to conduct my due diligence. And the seller sits on his hands and does nothing while your 30 days gets eaten up. Well, wait a minute. I negotiated 30 days. Yeah, you did. You negotiated 30 days from the date of the effective date. We'll get to work. Go look at my property. Well, I need your documents. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. I'll show them to you. Folks, I've had it where the guy promised it right up until the last day of the 30th day. And then you decide, well, I'm going to get out of it because I'm in the financing contingency now, and you haven't given me the documents. And the guy terminated the contract. And then the seller sued him for specific performance to keep, not for specific performance, to keep the earnest money deposit, because the guy said that that you terminated 2 days into the financing period. You didn't even apply for financing. He says, well, I couldn't because I didn't have any documents. He says, well, you're going to owe me that money. My client, the buyer, won the $10,000 earnest money. And this is what happened. Came out of the escrow agent, gave it right to my client. My client took the $10,000, gave it right to his attorney. He lost $10,000 because he wrote the contract the wrong way. The way we write these contracts is that the time frame starts, the due diligence period starts when the seller gives you all the documents. And don't act like you don't know what documents I need. You already signed off of the contract where I told you what documents. And not only that, but I've been telling you since I sent you over the letter of intent exactly what documents I would need. So there's no excuse why the guy has to take time to find the documents. He should have known that long before. Okay, so that's the due diligence period. The other period that you're going to be looking at is what's called the title insurance commitment period. Okay, now people discount this. This is one of the most important features of the contract that you really need to understand. But most importantly, you need to understand that when you sign that contract, the next thing that the seller has to do is, besides giving you the due diligence information, they have to give you the title commitment letter from the title company. So when that letter comes in the mail to your house, don't throw it in the inbox and forget about it. Open it up and go through it, make sure that it makes sense. get it to your attorney, who will review it, try to remove the exceptions that the insurance company tries to stick in there. If they don't remove the exceptions, then you can go back and tell the seller, I'm not buying your property until these exceptions are removed. That's called a cure period, and the seller has a certain number of days to do that. So what we do is we come up with a critical dates timeline, where once the contract is executed, that starts the clock ticking, and we can go right down the list and figure out exactly when everything's happening. So those are the dates that you need to know, the times that you need to know. Then you go into the purchase contract, and folks, make sure you follow everything in the contract. I have not, knock on wood, lost any clients' money yet. So make sure you have that all lined up and ready to rock and roll. So that is it. And if here we are, got about 10 people online, and that's cool. If anybody, usually, hello everyone. I'm going to say hello. See if my brother is out there watching. See if my brother's out there watching my show. Okay, so that's really all you have to do with the contracting process. Another thing I got to talk to you guys about, and this is happening more and more, and this is why I started the investment property risk assessors, because my clients are getting some crazy stuff happening in the insurance business and the insurance side of the business. I just saw one of my students' clients, his insurance doubled. I've been able to help most of my clients, if we take a look at their insurance, save them money. Not everybody. I had some students who've done a very good job at shopping their insurance, and I have others that are just being losing their shirt on these renewals. It's stupid. I got one student that got renewal terms, and then on the day of the effective date, the insurance company yanked it back. He was naked. He had no insurance. So that's part of the issue. That's part of the issue that we're seeing on that side of the equation for people in this business, the multifamily world. You got to be prudent. I looked at one of my students, his trailing 12 financial statement, because he asked me to review it for the. He's gotten a huge number for his repairs and maintenance, and he's like, "What do I do? How can I control this?" So I took a look at it for him. But overall, the guy's got a 41% expense ratio. I'm like, bravo, man! You're running this property well. And that's in spite of this huge R&M number that's showing up on his monthly books. That's something he's got to get under control, because, man, he's spending a lot of money every single month just trying to pay the repairs and maintenance. And after a while, you got to start thinking to yourself, is this a property management issue? Is this, what's going on here? So that's one of the things. But the reason why I bring it up is because his insurance had doubled between the 2 years, and it's something had to give. So we're working on trying to solve that problem for him. And I love doing that. I love helping my students make their properties run better and be more valuable. Hello, Deborah Bowling. Okay, so and then another thing too is I know this is an open forum, and I know I tell all of you that I usually come back at 4:00 right after this. I've got another call with all of my students who are in my hotels to apartment forum. But we are now under contract. We just paid our second round of earnest money for this property that we will be buying in Louisville, Kentucky. So if anybody wants to find out more about that, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to share with you how that deal is going to go. Now we're in the financing and money raising stage, and it still looks like a phenomenal transaction. So we're very excited about that. That's going to be a good one. But that is it. I just want to give you an idea that, don't be afraid of the contracting process. The letters of intent, no one ever died by making a letter of intent, by submitting a letter of intent. As a matter of fact, as I always say, it's good for everybody if you make an offer, especially the broker. And don't be afraid, the numbers are too ridiculously low. Listen, I'm not, um, you are an investor. You don't pay retail prices. You do not know what situation the seller is in. You do not know if he just got a letter from the IRS that they're going to start taking his properties unless he pays. And he's got to do something fast. You don't know. Make your offer. When you make the offer, the reason why it's a good thing is because the seller, the broker can tell the seller two things. Number one, obviously your price is too high because all of my offers coming in are way lower. You've got to change it or I'm not making a commission. That's the first thing that's going to help the broker. The second thing that's going to help the broker is, hey, this is the seventh offer I brought you so far this week. I'm doing my job. I'm getting offers. My marketing is working. So I'm a great broker. And it makes the broker look good in front of the seller. So don't worry about a thing. Make offers. You're not going to, no one ever died by making an offer. And that's the business you're in, is making the offers, asking people to buy, asking people to sell. That's it. All right, folks, I'm gearing up for my my call at 4:00, with my hotel to apartment investor cohort group. It's going to be an interesting meeting. We're going to be talking about what's going on. We've got a couple of properties lined up right behind the one that is now essentially hard. Well, not really hard, but we're going to get this thing closed. We can get the financing all put together and make it happen. But this one's going to be the team that we're putting together is absolutely kick-ass. I'm so looking forward to working with these people. They are just, that's the typical students of mine, just absolute professionals, a great experience. These aren't newbies. They know what they're doing. It's really exciting to work with them. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, everybody, great to see you all. As always, shoot me an email if you got a topic. I will make sure that I get my topic out earlier next week. Molly's gonna be she's probably laughing right now when I say that, but good, I'll make her laugh. So, all right, everybody, it is so good I really appreciate you coming on out. It's been great chatting with you. Make sure you check the if some of you come on late, go back and check the feed, the email when this or the YouTube channel when this comes back out. It'll be out almost momentarily. Make sure you like it, you subscribe. That really does help. I think I had over 100,000 views last year, which was really pretty cool. But I'm also moving up the food chain at YouTube. I don't know what that means. I just want to make sure that I get more people out there watching my content. So, all right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you all soon. Take care.